What is going on, YouTube? Espresso Shucko here, and today I have to pose the question, can I win some matches with this stupidly hyper-offensive Rayquaza team? Rayquaza here is Terra Normal, and it's holding a clear amulet, so you know what that means. Extreme Speed shenanigans. I also messed that up. But anyways, we have Extreme Speed and Dragon Ascent on Rayquaza to do some major damage to my opponents. And also, I did not know Rayquaza gets access to U-turn, so the more you know. This might be a little bit fun to have some pivoting action going for Rayquaza. I was kind of debating on putting a Choice Band on this thing, or maybe a Scarf, but I mean, if I'm running Extreme Speed, that's kind of counterproductive to run the Scarf, but a Choice Band would have been fun. But there is a Choice Band on this team, just not on the Rayquaza. We have the Clear Amulet here instead, just to help us deal with Intimidate. So hopefully Rayquaza can come in and do some major damage with Dragon Ascent and Extreme Speed. And we do have that U-turn to pivot it out and to try to reset the defensive drops that Rayquaza will take from using Dragon Ascent. This Rayquaza here is max attack and max speed, and we are looking to do as much damage as possible with it. Joining Rayquaza here is Chein-Pao, Urshifu Rapid Strike, Tornadus, Raging Bolt, and Ogerpon Harf Flame. We have Chein-Pao here to soften up our opponents with the Sword of Ruin ability, so everything except for itself will have their defense lowered on the field. So that's going to effectively make it so that we are going to do some more damage without really needing to set up the majority of the Pokemon here. And Chein-Pao here is also going to be max attack and max speed. We have Ice Spinner to destroy terrain. If we run into the odd Miraidon, I would love to get rid of the electric terrain with the Ice Spinner. We have Sucker Punch for some priority, and we have Sacred Sword to bypass the defensive boosts of some Pokemon that are looking to set up. We are Terra Ghost on this Chein-Pao, and we do have the Focus Sash on it as well. We have Choice Banded Urshifu Rapid Strike here with Terra Water. We have both Surging Strikes and Aqua Jet to benefit from the Terra Water. We have Close Combat to just destroy things with that Choice Band boost, and we have U-turn as well. And then we have Tornadus with the Covert Cloak. This is a bulkier Tornadus. It's got Terra Dark on it, so we don't have to worry about being weak to electric type attacks. We can pop that Terra Dark if we need it. And the nice thing here is if we run into opposing Tornadus with status moves to try to disrupt me, like say maybe Taunt, we can pop the Terra Dark, and then we are immune to Prankster's status moves, which is going to be relatively nice. As far as our moves go, we do have Leer on Tornadus instead of Rain Dance, with the main logic being we can use Leer to target our opponents. Leer is a spread move, so both Pokemon on the opposing side of the field will have their defense lowered one stage, and since Rayquaza's ability Airlock negates the effects of weather, might as well just go for the Leer instead of the Rain Dance, and then Leer can still benefit Urshifu, so there is that. We have Bleak Wind Storm here to do a little bit of damage, and we also have the Tailwind for speed control. We have Assault Vested Raging Bolt here with Thunderclap, Electroweb, Volt Switch, and Draco Meteor. Now we are doubling up, or actually tripling up, on electric type moves, but what I was thinking is we have a little bit of secondary speed control with the Electroweb, and we have the Volt Switch to pivot out Raging Bolt. Raging Bolt's not the fastest Pokemon out there, so it is going to be nice to have a slow pivot with the Volt Switch, and we do have Draco Meteor to do some decent damage to things. And then finally we have the Ogerpon Heart Flame here with the Ivy Cudgel and Horn Leech for damage. We have Follow Me if we need to redirect away, but I'm ideally hoping to be doing as much damage as possible with Ogerpon. I really like the idea of having Ogerpon Tornadus as a lead, or at least a combination, so that I have the Leer to benefit Ogerpon, and then if we have to Terastallize Ogerpon, it naturally gets an attack boost with its M-Body aspect. So then we go up +1 into our attack, and our opponent goes down to -1 in their defense, and then we should be picking up some pretty good knockouts, or coming very, very close with some knockouts in that sense. We also have Horn Leech here for some grass type damage to hit things that might otherwise not care about the fire type Ivy Cudgel, specifically water types. So there is that. And then we have Spiky Shield just for, you know, Spiky Shield shenanigans. So that's the team in a nutshell. Let's jump right on in to the battles. All right, we've got an Ice Rider team, which is not a good matchup for Ray, but you know what? Let's go. We got Ice Rider, Incin, Landorus, Teal Mask, Ogerpon, Urshifu, and Iron Hands. So we've got two different fake out options in Incin and Iron Hands. Ogerpon I'm kind of curious to see what the Ogerpon wants to do. I really don't like that Calyrex, but you know what? This might be an Ogerpon game. Raging Bolt might be okay. Urshifu might be okay. Urshifu Chein-Pao might not be the worst thing imaginable, especially since I do have the U-turn and they can't protect in front of Urshifu. They probably go for Trick Room. Yeah, they probably do, but they don't have any anti-priority, which is nice, so there is that. Now, I am Choice Banded Urshifu, so I might be able to do some decent damage. We'll find out. Now, they fake out Urshifu, that could be really bad. Yeah, but, I mean, there's two things that, there's two things here that, can be targeted. So let's see. It is Iron Hands and the Calyrex. All right, into my Urshifu Chein-Pao. So they do have the fake out, but you know what? I almost kind of want to go for the Iron Hands instead. No, I don't. I want to U-turn into the Calyrex, try to get some chip damage, and I kind of want a Sacred Sword. And I kind of want to pop Ghost Terra just to get some damage into it. At least that way I dodge the fake out. But, you know, the other thing is at least if I get Ogerpon in, I can do some damage. Like pop the Terra Fire. So they go for the Urshifu, that's fine. We do a little chunk to the Calyrex. Not a lot. Here comes the Trick Room. So, I think... Well, I think Urshifu's dead at the end of the day. Yeah, no ands, ifs, or buts about it. But I think Calyrex has a... Or not Calyrex. I think Chein-Pao has a fighting chance. I think we attempt to go for the Surging Strikes. I think we protect Chein-Pao here because we might see a Drain Punch. We might see an Electric-type move into Urshifu, and if we do, that's not ideal, but at least Chein-Pao gets to survive. We do see Drain Punch in Chein-Pao, so maybe Terra Ghost. High Horsepower into Urshifu, great. We get to live. So, that might be Sucker Punch range. Oh, that is definitely Sucker Punch range. Okay. So, I think we click the Surging Strikes into the Iron Hands. I think we pop Terra Ghost, and I think we Sucker Punch Cali. I think that's what we do here. I think we get Calyrex off the field with that Sucker Punch. No, they switch. That's not good, but you know what? It is what it is. Yeah, if Urshifu can also damage Iron Hands, that would be really nice. So we'll pop our Terra Ghost on Chein-Pao. Ray is neutral to Iron Hands too, so I don't dislike that. So we do get the Sucker Punch the Calyrex for the knockout, so the Restricted is gone. And if we can stall out Trick Room, great. Now, did they go for another Drain Punch? They did. Good. Good. I love to see that. Because this Choice Banded Surging Strikes is going to hit the Iron Hands. Alright, so 3 hits, and we've almost knocked it out. That's great. Now, Incineroar can come in. Incineroar can Dark-type attack Chein-Pao, which is not great. But you know what? I think I bring in the Ray. Oh, they bring in their own Urshifu. I can't protect in front of that thing. Okay, so you know what? We Surging Strikes. And we Sacred Sword. We double into it. Because I am sashed, so Chein-Pao getting to hit this thing with a Sacred Sword is going to be really nice. And plus, I can always bring in Ray and Extreme Speed, the Urshifu, to finish it off. Also good to know that that is the single strike. So you know what? They Sucker Punch me. Makes sense. Iron Hands might just go after me instead, like Chein-Pao. Nope, they don't. Okay, great. I get to at least get the Sacred Sword off into Urshifu, and that should maybe put me in KO range for the Urshifu, which I really do like. And getting Ogerpon in can be really nice too. Late game Ogerpon might not be the worst thing imaginable, especially if they don't have Incineroar. They have Landorus. Okay, so Ogerpon doesn't like that, per se, but that's alright. That is very good damage at the end of the day. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. We haven't seen them burn their Terra. They might go for Landorus and go for the Terra here. Ogerpon doesn't love a Sludge Bomb, but what I can do here is maybe I go for this the Sucker Punch into Lando, because I think they might detect with Urshifu, and if they do, great. If they don't, they Sucker Punch and Ogerpon redirects it. Okay, they went Detect, so you know what? Ogerpon's going to make sure that Landorus attacks it, so Chein-Pao doesn't have to worry too much. I can bring in Ray, I can Extreme Speed Urshifu, and then I just try to get rid of the... Oh, Sandsear Storm. Alright, Ogerpon dodged. Alright, so I don't have Chein-Pao anymore, which means I don't have Sucker Punch, but I get Extreme Speed. New plan. Extreme Speed the Urshifu. Hope Trick Room wears off and Ogerpon finishes off Landorus. So, Trick Room is gone, which is good. I wasn't paying attention to Trick Room returns, which is a little bit bad on my end, but you know what? That's fine. I also need to double check my speed too, because I might just be able to outspeed both of these. We saw a Sucker Punch off of the Urshifu, so you know what? We might not have a choice banded Urshifu here. Or, no, we definitely don't have a choice item because we saw Detect. Ogerpon is faster than Ray, so... Ogerpon should be faster than Ursh. Sucker Punch, or not Sucker Punch, Extreme Speed should be able to do it into... Yeah. But that said, my Ogerpon is... You know what? I just Ivy Cudgel, because if I remember right, Landorus clocks out at 168 for speed. So, great. They switch out Landorus, even better. I'm going to Extreme Speed that Urshifu. I'm going to get an Ivy Cudgel off into Iron Hands, and this should be a double knockout regardless. So, Urshifu's gone. Great. And Ivy Cudgel is coming into the Iron Hands. So, a little bit more thinking than I would have liked on my end. But, yeah, I mean, you play Hyper Offense. You just want to click buttons and just watch things go down. But, you know what? It works out. We also didn't have to pop the Terra Normal on Ray, which is nice. So, that's great. Landorus comes in here. I just Extreme Speed, and I Cudgel. Also, really nice of Ogerpon to dodge that Sandsear. I was really thinking it was going to be a Sludge Bomb. So, we should secure the win with this combination right here. So, Landorus hangs in there, and oh, they're actually faster than my Ogerpon, but we still survive. So, I thought my Ogerpon was 1 point faster. Apparently, it's not. So good to know that that switch actually kind of helped me out. So that said, Ray did have the Extreme Speed, so we did have that in our favor. So in the end, it works out really nice because even if Ogerpon had gone down there, I could have just done it for another Extreme Speed. So it worked out in my favor. Also, good game to my opponent. All right, we have a team without a restricted legendary, but we do have Chein-Pao, Amoonguss, Raging Bolt, Fluttermane, Incineroar, and Urshifu. We also have the Fireworks because it is the World Championship, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm kind of glad to see that they have that going on. That is pretty nice. So what do we want to do for this team here? Rayquaza looks really good because there's no anti-priority. Now, I do have to be a little bit careful of the Amoonguss going for Spore, but Chein-Pao Rayquaza could be really nice, especially since I do have the Terra Ghost on my Chein-Pao. I do have Raging Bolt too, which could be really handy. Fluttermane does have a means of providing speed control, so I do have to be a little bit weary there. Alrighty, so I think maybe we go Ogerpon Chein-Pao. I think we bring Ray in the lead, or in the back. Not in the lead, in the back. And then as far as the last Pokemon goes, I think we bring the Raging Bolt. Yeah, Chein-Pao threatens their Amoonguss and their Raging Bolt, so that is nice. If I pop Terra Ghost, I do have to be weary of Fluttermane, but if they... I'm just realizing I don't have Tornadus too, so I do have to be a little bit more careful. But if I get some good Electro Webs off, great. I do have to be a little bit careful here. Oh, I also lost my train of thought, so sorry. That thought, unfortunately, just died in the corner for it alone. But yeah, anyways, moving on. Let's see what the lead is here. It is Incineroar and Amoonguss. All right, so they have Spore and they have Fake Out. So, silver lining. They can't Spore Ogerpon, so they might Fake It Out, which means they might try to... Spore the Chein-Pao. So I think I Ivy Cudgel into the Amoonguss slot, and I think I protect with Chein-Pao here. I hope I'm right. If Incineroar goes for Flare Blitz into one of these two, that could be gross too. So, we'll see. Now, we are going to get a Terra out of my opponent right out of the gate, so this is Amoonguss. Great. Alright, so is it water? It is. Good. I have a Horn Leech for you. Kind of wish I saw that coming, and then that way I could have gone for the Horn Leech instead of the Ivy Cudgel, but it is what it is. I think Ogerpon gets faked out anyways, so we'll see right here. Yep, they do. Alright, that's fine. And do they explore the Chein-Pao slot? They do. Great. Alright, so we've seen that. I can always follow me with Ogerpon, and I can Horn Leech. I do like going for a Horn Leech into the Amoonguss and maybe doubling up with a Sacred Sword. And then that way we can just try to get that thing off the field. And if they switch it, great. I love the combination of Horn Leech. Oh, they're going to switch Incineroar out instead. Great. So, both of these Pokemon are at -1 attack, so I do have to be respectful of that. But, the Sacred Sword is... Ooh, that is not a lot of damage. Alright, so you know what? The Horn Leech was... That's great. Alright. So, they do have a berry. I might see the Amoonguss switch into Incineroar again. So, Chein-Pao is now asleep. But, what I can do is... I could pivot Ogerpon out, or I could follow me. I feel like I feel like I attempt the damage into the Incineroar, maybe. Or the Amoonguss. Yeah, if they switch Amoonguss out to get HP and bring in Incineroar, it is what it is. But, you know what, that's fine. Chein-Pao. Chein-Pao is kind of a sitting duck, unfortunately, because of the Spore. But what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to click the Sucker Punch, let them think it's Protect. So yeah, they do switch the Amoonguss, that's fine. I can bring in Raging Bolt. Yeah, it's Incineroar coming in here. Ready. So, Chein-Pao is going to take a guaranteed sleep turn, but I do have a Focus Sash on it, which is nice. So, you know what? That's fine. I get a tiny, tiny little bit of chip damage into the Incineroar, so Electro Web comes out. Not the end of the world for me. Alright. I think I switched Chein-Pao into Ray. I think I Spiky Shield with Ogerpon. Actually, I think I bring in my own Raging Bolt, because then I can always Volt Switch into Ogerpon. Like, I can switch Ogerpon out into Ray next turn. So, I don't dislike going for a Draco Meteor into their Raging Bolt. I gotta get Ogerpon's attack drops cleared. So, there's the Fake Out. You know what? That's fine. They're just gonna Fake Out into the Spiky Shield. So... I do have super effective electric type damage into the Amoonguss now, which is nice. And I'm going to just take this no problem. So, I don't dislike that at all. If they want to attack Incineroar, they can attack Incineroar all they want. I'm going to switch in Ray. Terra Normal Extreme Speed should do a lot of damage to Raging Bolt. I'm going to Volt Switch. And then this way, if they target Ogerpon, or in the bare minimum, if they switch in Amoonguss, great. Ogerpon's faster, so we'll see the switch animation first. I don't think Incineroar stays in. They might Parting Shot instead, which, you know what, I'm at -1 speed. Okay, that's a lot of damage for my Assault-Vested Raging Bolt to lose it. But, you know what, that's fine. They Parting Shot. Is it Amoonguss? Is it Amoonguss? Please let it be Amoonguss, because I would love to get Ogerpon back in here. So... I don't dislike the idea of the Volt Switch getting a little bit of damage off into the, or yeah, Raging Bolt getting some damage off. Oh, it's Chein-Pao, which, you know what, that's fine too. A Sacred Sword could be really bad, but you know what, that's fine. Ogerpon is still looking really nice here, because I can always go for the Ivy Cudgel into the Chein-Pao. I can also follow me. So, you know what, there is that. It's not entirely hopeless. Sword of Ruin boosted Extreme Speed is going to be really nice, so I should be able to do a lot of damage to this Raging Bolt. And honestly, I don't... outside of Incineroar, like, Amoonguss doesn't want to switch in on this Horn Leech, and Ogerpon should be okay here, so we'll pop our Terra. We'll become a normal type. I really need to get Raging Bolt off the field, though, if I want to have a decent chance at this. If I get Raging Bolt off, great. So, let's see, right here. How strong is this Extreme Speed going to be? A little under half. Not good, but they went for Thunderclap into Ray, so Ray is going to survive. I'm going to take an Ice Spinner into it, which we do get to survive as well. So, Chein-Pao is gone. Great. So, I think if Incineroar comes in, I protect Ray, and I bring in Chein-Pao and try to wake up to deal with that Raging Bolt. Or, oh, you know what? It's Amoonguss. Even better. Now, the Horn Leech into... Amoonguss and then Amoonguss switching into Incineroar looks really blatantly obvious. But you know what? I could just go for the U-turn into the Amoonguss or the Raging Bolt and do some big damage. Or I just click Extreme Speed again, because, you know, Extreme Speed will start whittling down the Raging Bolt. Yeah, I think I do that. I think I'd go for the... Let's check something right quick, too, because... Yeah, they're at -2 special attack, so you know what? The Extreme Speed feels really safe. And you know what? I'm going to Horn Leech into the Amoonguss. No switch off of my opponent, so they're just going to hand me the Amoonguss here. So we almost get Raging Bolt. There's a Rage Powder, which, you know what? That's fine. Horn Leech is going to just seal the deal on Amoonguss here. So, a tiny little bit of HP. Not the end of the world. Draco Meteor comes out. I survive with 8 HP. So now what I can do is I Extreme Speed the Raging Bolt, and I Horn Leech the Amoonguss. And then we just try to wake up with Chein-Pao and Sacred Sword the Incineroar. That's what we try to do. We took our mandatory sleep turn before we switched, so we should be okay. This should be a double knockout into my opponent. No, okay, they're going to switch in Incineroar, so you know what, that's fine. I think I protect and Spiky Shield this one turn, and then that way I dodge the Fake Out. And because we get Raging Bolt off of the field, we don't have to worry about the Thunderclap. So Fake Out will let Incineroar outspeed me, but that's fine. I don't dislike that at all. We get a little bit of chip damage into Incineroar as well, which I don't hate. I could also go for the Dragon Ascent, which should be alright for hitting the Incineroar. Yeah, I think I just protect Rayquaza here, and I think I just Spiky Shield on Ogerpon. And then that way, what I do is I Horn Leech into the Amoonguss, get that thing off the field so it can't put anything to sleep, and then I just wail on the Incineroar. So I have 8 HP. That's fine. Like, Fake Out into Ray is the obvious play, because they get around the Extreme Speed that way. And the Sludge Bomb into Ogerpon is a little bit concerning, but you know what? Ogerpon outspeeds Amoonguss, so even at the -1 attack, I should be okay. So I think I'm going to... click the Dragon Ascent just for the damage, and I'm going to click the Horn Leech into Amoonguss. And that should be... yeah, that's game. So my opponent does cancel the battle there, so I kind of wish I got to see how much damage the Dragon Ascent would have did just for my knowledge, but... you know, that works out. So, yeah. A little bit unfortunate that I wasn't able to knock out the Amoonguss when I went for the Terra Water. Like, maybe I should have gone for Follow Me off of Ogerpon, or I maybe should have tried to guess the Terra and predict it that way. But anyways, it worked out in the end. Good game to my opponent. All right, we've got a Shadow Rider team with Male Indeedee, Whimsicott, Riolu, Incineroar, and Charjabug. Now, the Riolu, I'm not 100% sure about the team dynamic because it probably is coaching, and having Faint would be really nice. But they have Psychic Terrain on Indeedee, which is a little bit odd. But the big thing to be very, very interested in watching is to see if the Charjabug comes, because Charjabug's ability battery boosts the special attack stat of your partner. I think it's roughly the same amount as a Life Orb, so I'm very curious to see how that works. Now, that all being said, I need Chein-Pao for the Ice Spinner to destroy terrain. Incineroar could be really nasty here, but I think this is definitely a Tornadus game. I think we bring Chein-Pao as part of the lead. I don't know if I bring Raging Bolt. Yeah, I think I do bring Raging Bolt because the Assault Vest is going to help me out in the long run. I think I bring Torn, and I think I might actually leave Ray on the bench because I'm kind of leaning towards Ogerpon. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards Ogerpon and Urshifu. I think I'm going to leave Ray on the bench. I think I'm going to bring Urshifu. Yeah, we're going to try it. Because honestly, between the Psychic Terrain and the Calyrex, like, I'm a little bit weary of, if I don't get the Psychic Terrain gone, that if I lose Chein-Pao, then I can't really Extreme Speed things. So I'm a little bit weary that way. And that's why I'm kind of leaning towards Urshifu, because if I get Tailwind up, great. So it's Whimsicott Cali into Chein-Pao Raging Bolt. Chein-Pao threatens the Cali. And we also threaten the Whimsicott too, which is really nice here. Now, I'm immune to Psychic type attacks, and I do have a Ghost Resistance. Now, a Draining Kiss could be really bad, but you know what? That's fine. And I do have the Assault Vest on Raging Bolt, so I think I Electro Web, and I think I Ice Spinner the Whims. And if I get rid of Whimsicott and offset Tailwind by a turn, that's going to be huge in the end game for Urshifu. So we'll go from there. I also don't want to pop my Terra in case they just Astral Barrage and go for the resisted damage. Now, they might Moonblast, which could be a little bit scary. Now, we're seeing a Terastallization, so it's Calyrex. They're dropping the 4x Dark Weakness to a Fairy typing, which means they're now going to resist this. That's fine. That is fine. We see the Tailwind, so you know what? I kind of figured we were going to see Tailwind, but my team is kind of slow right now. Now, Draining Kiss is going to hurt either of these two Pokemon. It's going to be Chein-Pao, so Chein-Pao really does not appreciate that, but I don't dislike getting the Ice Spinner into Whimsicott and just trying to get rid of it. So, we also get the Electro Web off, and we don't pick up the Whimsicott. Now, I could, in theory, Terra my Raging Bolt. I don't really have a reason to right now. I'm going to attempt to Sucker Punch the Whims, and I'm going to Electro Web again, just to get a little bit more chip damage off into the Raging Bolt, or the Calyrex with Raging Bolt. We're going to see a Fake Tears, you know what? Not ideal. Really not ideal, because now we're going to see this Astral Barrage, but if they pick up both of my Pokemon, I Surging Strikes the Calyrex. They're at -1 speed. I Surging Strikes and I Tailwind. And I pop the Terra Water to make sure Surging Strikes hurts. Yeah, and to drop the Fairy Weakness. That's the big thing. Drop the Fairy Weakness. So Grimnay is going to activate, but Urshifu comes in. They're probably expecting Ray as one of these two Pokemon. And honestly, I don't hate Surging Strikes into Whimsicott either. I drop the Fairy Weakness by going Terra, and then that way, too, I can hit the Whims, or I, in theory, survive after getting hit by the Whims. So, if I get Cali off the field, and then I have Torn, great. Because I think I Tailwind this turn, Protect next turn, and attack Whimsicott. And then that way, too, I don't get locked into Encore. They're going to switch out Calyrex. Alright, so you know what? That's fine. I'm a Choice Band. I am a choice band, so this is going to hurt Indeedee. Alright, so Psychic Terrain is now active. Not good. But hitting Indeedee for major damage is going to be very handy. I do need to do that. If I can knock out Indeedee, that would be great too. So I think they thought Torn was going to be faster, but I'm wondering if they're... Were they Covert Cloak or were they Sashed? No, they were Sashed because I hit them with an Ice Spinner. I refuse to believe that Covert Cloak survives that. But you know what? They had the Tailwind still helping them, which made them still faster even with the -1 speed, so I should be okay. Yeah, I should be okay. So long as they don't go for another priority move into Torn. Calyrex comes back in here. I now have Tailwind, but they are faster than me now. Yeah, that's the problem. They do have one more turn to Tailwind. So I just have to hope I can live this, to be completely honest. But I think I just clicked the Leer. I kind of wish I had a... Oh, yeah, they have the Psychic Terrain. But you know what? They go for a Fake Tears, but you know what? We both just did that to each other, so that's fine. If Urshifu can live this, we're golden. Urshifu lived with 4 HP. Let's go. Alright. So, their Tailwind is gone. I'm gonna probably see Tailwind go back up. But Torn has Bleakwind Storm. Calyrex did not knock me out. I also have a Choice Band. Whimsicott only has like 1 HP, so a Bleakwind is all I need to hit it. So long as they don't have Incineroar in the back, I should be okay. They probably do, though. That's the only problem. Yeah, they... No, it's... What? Okay. They have Riolu. Alright. Yeah, okay. I Surging Strikes and I Bleakwind, and all I need is for Torn to connect both of these. Riolu, what are you doing on Psychic Terrain, buddy? Okay. So there's a Feint, but that should have been into the Urshifu. They would have picked up Urshifu right there if they had done that. Oh yeah, they couldn't because of the terrain. That's right. Okay. So Whimsicott's probably going for damage. Probably the Urshifu. They could have gone for the Torn because they might have thought a Protect was coming. But that doesn't matter. We get to clean them up with the Bleakwind Storm. So despite the fact that I did pull out the win, that wasn't really the cleanest game. That was really kind of sloppy on my end, but that's okay. I guess the main logic that I had was I thought they were going to Encore me into Tailwind, so I tried to go for Leer. But I forgot about the Psychic Terrain. I got a little bit caught up and distracted about that, which was not the greatest. But it kind of worked out in my end that they tried to Fake Tears my Urshifu. So we both misplayed right there, both my opponent and I. So that is okay. We kind of each gave each other a free pass with one of our turns. Like, we let our practicer Pokemon just effectively do nothing. I got really lucky, too, that I was able to survive with, like, 4 HP with Urshifu and just removed Calyrex. I'm kind of curious what the Riolu was meant to do there, because with the way how my opponent's team was built, you probably wouldn't have relied on coaching. Unless you really want to power up Incineroar. Like, maybe Incineroar is more of an offensive variant. So I'm not 100% sure. But, yeah. If you guys can think of it, too, let me know what you think of that in the comments. And maybe you guys might see something that I don't. The Feint into Torn makes sense because Torn was not grounded. Feint into Urshifu, if Psychic Terrain was not there, would have been a death sentence. For Urshifu. Now, I did connect the Bleakwind Storm, so maybe if I had connected the Bleakwind Storm into Riolu, that would have picked up a knockout, because we Ice Spinnered the Whims on turn 1 with Chein-Pao, so that definitely would have had to have been a Focus Sash with Sword of Ruin. But yeah, anyways, I've lingered on to this far too long. Moving on. Hey, thank you guys so much for checking out this hyper-offensive Terra Normal Extreme Speed Rayquaza team. And for a team that struggles with Ice and Fairy types, as well as a team that is as frail as this one is, we made out just alright, considering we played up against Calyrex Ice Rider as well as Terra Fairy Calyrex Shadow Rider. We also played up against a Regulation F team, which was very well piloted by my opponent, so be sure to show that opponent some appreciation down in the comments below as well. As far as the Calyrex Shadow Rider team went, we actually left Rayquaza on the bench and we brought Urshifu instead, and Urshifu took the reins away from that rabbit and submitted that horse right into the ground with a Terra Water boosted Surging Strikes, which you love to see. And honestly, we had a very scary start to that match, and I also made a slight mistake in commentating that match as well, because while I did get the Ice Spinner off into the Whimsicott, I thought I brought them down to a Focus Sash with that alone, but turns out upon reviewing the footage, I actually left them with a little bit more than that, and we actually hit them with the Electro Web, because I was starting to second guess if the Whimsicott had a speed drop or not, in between filming the matches and the outro here. But the point is, we did not bring them down to a Focus Sash with the Ice Spinner, which was a little bit scary, but the Electro Web did bring them down low, and we got a very, very critical speed drop into the Terra Fairy Calyrex Shadow Rider. Now, they got Tailwind up with Whimsicott, and Calyrex broke my Focus Sash with Chein-Pao, and then on turn 2, they were able to Fake Tears my Raging Bolt, softened me up, and then Astral Barrage picked up the double knockout. But having the boosted special attack stat really wasn't that important to my opponent, because they allowed me to get Tornadus and Urshifu in for free. I clicked Tailwind, and my opponent switched out the Shadow Rider because they knew Urshifu would then outspeed the Shadow Rider. They brought in Indeedee. Indeedee set up the Psychic Terrain, and Urshifu just smacked that thing into next Tuesday with the Surging Strikes and the Choice Bandit on top of that, and Terra Water. So we really weren't taking any chances with Urshifu on that one. So Urshifu knocked out the Indeedee, and then Calyrex came back, hit us with an Expanding Force, left us with 4 HP. Urshifu took the reins away from the horse and smacked it a couple of times and knocked it out, which then left Riolu and Whimsicott, and thankfully, with the Psychic Terrain, they weren't able to go for Faint, which is a priority move, onto Urshifu and knock it out, seeing as I only had the 4 HP. So Urshifu was able to knock out the Riolu with the Surging Strikes, and Torn was able to finish off the weakened Whimsicott with the Bleakwind Storm. And then as far as the Regulation F team goes, my opponent had Incineroar and Amoonguss as their lead, with Raging Bolt and their own Chein-Pao in the back. And we did call the Spore Fake Out turn 1. Unfortunately, we didn't really do anything productive with that. We did switch out Chein-Pao. We brought in the Raging Bolt, and we were able to start applying some pressure there. And we ended up getting my opponent's Chein-Pao onto the field around the same time as Rayquaza. Rayquaza was able to go for the Terra Normal Extreme Speeds, and the very first one we did with that Raging Bolt, with the Sword of Ruin being provided by my opponent, was able to do roughly 45-ish%. We didn't quite take half, but we took the vast majority of that Raging Bolt's HP, so we were able to start whittling it down over time, and Ogerpon was able to come in and threaten the Chein-Pao, and we ended up having Amoonguss and Incineroar as the last 2 Pokemon on the field with my very weakened Rayquaza, and at that point we just had the Protect and Spiky Shield to keep us around, so the writing was pretty much on the wall, and my opponent did cancel the match at that point. And then we played up against Calyrex Ice Rider and Iron Hands as a lead, with Landorus and Urshifu Single Strike in the back, and my opponent went for Fake Out into the Urshifu instead of the Chein-Pao. They must have thought I was going to go for Terra Ghost to dodge the Fake Out, so they went for Urshifu instead, and Calyrex went for the Trick Room. Then they went for high horsepower into Urshifu, and they made the grave mistake of leaving Urshifu alone with Iron Hands. Iron Hands tried to Drain Punch my Chein-Pao when I went for Protect, which then meant they probably wanted to do that again, so I hit the Terra Ghost, and thanks to Calyrex taking a Choice Banded Surging Strikes on turn 2, we did have them in Sucker Punch range, so we finished them off with the Sucker Punch. We kept Chein-Pao since we got to dodge the Drain Punch with the Terra Ghost, so Urshifu was able to get some bonus damage into the Iron Iron Hands with the Surging Strikes. And then we ended up having Urshifu single strike as well as Landorus as the last two Pokemon. We got a little bit of chip damage into Landorus. Landorus switched out into the Iron Hands again, and Ogerpon just said thank you and bonked that thing on the head while Rayquaza finished off the Urshifu, leaving it into a 2v1 situation for Ray and Ogerpon against the Landorus, which we were able to finish off with the Extreme Speed and Ivy Cudgel. So overall, the team did fairly well despite its glaring weaknesses and its fragility, if that's a word. So overall, very happy about that. Be sure to let me know what you think of the team down in the comment section below. If you've run Extreme Speed Rayquaza or non-Extreme Speed Rayquaza, be sure to let me know about that down in the comments below. I would love to pick your brains and get some information from you on that too. Anyways, I will see you next time.